Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show. We always want to help you win, make you more informed as a consumer here. Lots of real estate talk today. We got Jay Smith, a Snoop Inspection in the house. Coming up as well later on is Anthony Rickman, attorney Anthony Rickman, that is Rickman Law Firm, criminal defense attorney. We're going to talk with him about J6, some of the issues happening, and of course Tucker Carlson just dropping all of that footage and getting attacked by basically the whole left and right, not all of them, but the bad ones. Where have restaurant workers gone? This is an interesting story when you look at where the layoffs are coming from. New companies making layoffs as well. Got a list of those coming up for you. Jay Smith in the house coming up in just a minute. Before we do, we always like to feature our real estate listings live on air, and we got a couple of hot listings here in Tampa Bay. This property is 13716 Lazy Oak Drive in Tampa. This is from Michelle on our team at the Platinum MVP team. Beautiful property here, Hillsborough County, 1840 square feet. We got 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, brand new roof, 2-story home, fireplace, stone fireplace, vaulted ceilings. Just a gorgeous home here at 13716 Lazy Oak Drive in Tampa. This property is a great location, close to almost everything in Tampa, centrally located. Great opportunity for you out there. And also, here's another one, 3058 Mildred Drive. Mildred Drive is one of my favorite listings right now. It is on Lake Tarpon. It's on the canal that leads out to Lake Tarpon. So you've got the restaurant there that you can go and visit, the Tarpon Turtle. 1380 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, spacious corner lot. That's fenced in. Also, a lot of people love this fenced in aspect where you can park your boats behind there and trailers. And there's no HOA, open concept, kitchen, granite countertops, wood accent walls, screened in patio with a pool, and you've got the canal with a boat dock there. So bring your boat, bring all of your paddle boards, all of the ski toys, and all that good stuff over to Mildred Drive in Palm Harbor. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. All right, Jay Smith in the house. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, good to be here.
Celebrating 10 years now. I don't know if you saw that cruise invite.
I saw it.
Yeah, so we got that. We got the 10-year anniversary. Things are rocking and rolling.
I guess that puts me here, about 8 years? Because I wasn't here the first couple of years.
8 to 9, close to it, yeah.
It's been a while.
Long-time friend of the program. We've seen some markets, so jumping into it, we've seen some markets up, some markets down through our 10-year working together. And,
9 years ago, we were just starting to come back, and now it seems like we've got another little dip going on.
Yeah. So what are you seeing out there, Jay? What's your word on the street?
I mean, unfortunately, I think the interest rates have stagnated things. Mm-hmm. And then, unfortunately, you got the people that had those nice low rates that they bought in the last couple of years. Even if they want to move, they don't want to lose that rate.
Yeah, that's true. That's a big part of it. And we're seeing investors also, speaking about that situation, a lot of investors for listings that we have, they're coming in and saying, hey, what's the current mortgage holder what does he owe and what is the rate on it? Because we would like to buy this property subject to the mortgage. So there's ways that they can keep those mortgages in place and still sell. So keep that in mind. If you're thinking about selling, there's different creative ways to look at that. We went over the stats on yesterday's show, the real estate stats, but I want to pop up. I'm going to have Alex pop this up on the screen here. The bottom line is people are moving to Florida. So we've got net migration. If you're watching our TV show version, or I'd urge you to check out our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty. Go to YouTube, check out it, and subscribe to our channel. You can see this infographic there, Jay, at the top of the net migration, domestic net migration.
Is that Florida?
For 2022. Florida, number one, 319,000 new people. Second is Texas, 230,000, almost 100,000 less, 90,000 less or so. North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Arizona, Idaho, Alabama. So you look at Idaho and Arizona, those are people fleeing California. Of course, Texas, a lot of people are going to from California to Texas, but Florida, we're receiving, most of our folks are coming from New York, New Jersey, the Midwest. So if you drop to the bottom of the list, so this is the dubious section. This is where Gavin Newsom and all of his great politics are pushing people away from California, one of the most beautiful states in the union. I've been out there several times on different business and things of that nature. Real Estate Radio Network, who recruited me back in the day. Mm-hmm. I had my broadcast school out there with them and some other trips. The very bottom of this list, California lost 340,000 153,000 to net migration. Most of those people, again, going to, Idaho, Arizona, some of those different places out there.
I see Maryland's pretty far down the list, my home state.
Maryland, yep, that's right. Maryland, of course, it's cold up there. The politics, a little bit, I would think. Louisiana getting hit by storms, pushing people away. Massachusetts there. Illinois, let's go in order. So California, worst. New York, second to worst. Illinois, third to worst. So you got New Jersey, Massachusetts, Louisiana, Maryland. So that is your net migration. Worst on the list, and the top list was Florida, Texas, Carolinas.
I'm actually surprised by Virginia, though.
Yeah, Virginia.
Because that's in that bottom 10.
But you're close to Washington, D.C. there.
It's the taxes in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. I think your people are saying, get me out of this beltway or whatever. It's got some of the richest zip codes in the nation. Yep. I always hear that.
And Maryland also.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in Maryland. I was there for 15 years, but now I've been in Florida for almost 16. I'm coming up on my 16 years in Florida.
Nice. So we'll claim you now. We'll claim you as a Floridian.
I feel like I'm there. It's been more than a decade. So yeah. It'll be 16 years in June.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, and I think Florida is going to be one of those states where it's people move here. They're not going to leave. Why do people leave?
It's going to continue.
Very rarely I hear people leaving Florida. Some people are going like Arizona, or I'm sorry, to Alabama, cheaper cost of living. Every now and then you'll see retirees heading towards those areas. But yeah, when you look all in all, what we got here in Tampa Bay, and we want you using J. Smith for all of your inspection needs. A Snoop Inspection, great home inspector here in Tampa Bay. We've worked with him over the years, does a great job, provides a detailed analysis on his report, gets in those places that you don't want to look or you may not know to look, and can kind of, peel the onion back on that. So J. Smith, A Snoop Inspection here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the Real Estate Quarterback. Jay, tell me a little bit more about, the nuts and bolts of your business. What are some of the misnomers that you're seeing?
Misnomers. Well, I mean, the thing of it is, they got to remember, get all of them inspected. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of condos for sale. We do condos all the time. I mean, I live in Clearwater myself. We have inspectors that we go all the way up to the Villages and down to Venice Beach. But we do quite a few condos. Not everyone gets a condo inspected. Thank God it's not that big a deal. But especially with all the changes in the regulations, you might learn a little bit more about the condo. Yeah,
the condos. And so that's a good point you bring up, and we haven't covered that a lot here on the show. But I was at one of the Pinellas Realtor Organization's meetings. I think you were there too, right?
Yeah, I was.
So help me recap that. What they talked about. I believe there's going to have to be a certain amount of reserves now with these condo associations. What else was it?
Well, a lot of them were able to partially fund before. Now they have to fully fund. I think it's more official in a year that this year they could still do it partially funded, but I think next year they've got to be full blast. And plus, all your engineering phase 1 inspections have to be done by December of 24.
So they're trying to avoid another Miami collapse that they had down there in that small town that's escaping my mind here. Surfside, was it?
Surfside, yep.
Yeah, so they're trying to avoid that, So, yeah, you look at those condos. A lot of these condos are super old, Jay. I mean, they're, 60s, 70s year built, a lot of those condos.
A lot of 70s and 80s, and they're all older than 30 years. And that's where the criteria is coming in. If it's older than 30 years, they have to do this phase 1 inspection.
Now, somebody told me, and I don't know how much truth there is to this, but they were saying the East Coast specifically, a lot of these condos, they were it was somehow connected to the mob back then. So a lot of the materials, a lot of the concrete, they would skim the amount of whatever sand or maybe materials that would bind. They would somehow skim money off the top, say, nobody's ever going to know. And then
I've never heard that, but anything is possible.
Somebody told me that. I was like, what? That's a little out there, a little bit bizarre.
Well, but I know, like, one of the issues with Surfside is with the storms and the hurricanes, the bottom floor was parking garage.
Yeah.
And it flooded out. It didn't really affect the units, but even that moisture being all underneath there has torn up the rebar and all the support system that was underneath that building. And that's what finally took it down.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's a challenging time for some folks in the housing industry, especially millennials. I'm going to get to that story in just a minute. Before we do, I want to talk about Patriot Mobile. I don't know if you ever heard of Patriot Mobile, but you should definitely check them out, especially if you're akin to our values that we have here with our show, the Consumer Quarterback Shows, Salem Media Family. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, and they are proudly and actively pro-life organization. installation. They offer broad coverage on dependable nationwide 4G or 5G network and exceptional 100% United States-based customer service while relentlessly fighting for pro-value lives. So I'm proud to announce our partnership with Patriot Mobile with the Consumer Quarterback Show. So we'd love for you to switch your carriers over. You know the big guys. I'm not even going to say their names, but they are the folks that are fighting for woke values against a lot of our Christian conservative values that we hold here with the Consumer Quarterback Show and a lot of our friends and family. So reach out and let us know how to put you in touch with Patriot Mobile. PatriotMobile.com/consumerQB if you'd like to look at switching to Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. Real excited about that. You can also reach out to our new show hotline, 727-263-3707. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. 727-263-3707. And make sure you follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1. On Instagram, Twitter, Getter, CQB Show on Instagram. Now that's our newer Instagram account that we just set up. And back to Jay Smith. Jay Smith's in the house. So we'd like to kind of soak up when you're in studio, Jay. What do we need to know? What are you seeing in terms of these home inspections? You get these common things that happen. What are some of the common areas? You got your electrical boxes, I would think, are there. We're going into rainy season too, so you get paints and things like that bubbling up.
Well, the paints and roofs. I mean, I think one of the biggest changes is insurance keeps tightening up more and more and more every year. And one of the things that they require us to do for the insurance reports as of January 1st of this year is we have to have a copy of the roofing permit with that form.
Okay.
And if you don't have one, boy, that just throws a wrench. I mean, they almost throw it off to the side. I can't tell you can't get insurance, but it's much more difficult to get it done.
Yeah, so if you used a cut rate roofing company, or you had two chucks in a truck do it, with less licensing and permitting.
I actually went down and helped a client out all the way down in Lee County, and it's funny, they were supposed to have a roof done before the storm came through, before Ian, and it didn't get done. The roofer came back after the storm and said, well, we're going to charge you $10,000 more.
Whoa.
And of course she said no. I mean, they had a contract. And her son ended up doing it, but they didn't do it with a permit. Now, I told her, since you're in Lee County, throw yourself on the mercy, and you still might be able to get the insurance done. But if she was in Tampa, I think it would have been just about possible.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting, man. Gosh, you hate to see that. And there's, unfortunately, there's good, better, and best in every industry. So you really got to do your due diligence. You got to do your research, ask around, look online, double check the licensing, and make sure they have, I think it was Fred Muth. One time he said, Tampa screens and aluminum, the Tin Man. Fred said, yeah, he goes, I was at a networking event one time, and this guy hands me his business card, this contractor, and his license number on the card was my license number.
Wow. Yeah. That's bold.
Yeah. And what are the chances, right? So there's a lot of bad contractors out there. So be careful who you select. Coming right back, we're going to take a quick commercial break here. Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection in the house. The Snoop Dogg's in the house, talking Tampa Bay real estate here. Also, I want to touch on millennial debt, the amount of millennial debt that is out there right now in housing. How is that going to affect housing? I'm going to talk about that on the flip side. Coming up, feel-good story of the day. Old friends go on an adventure of a lifetime around the world in 80 days. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty, always featuring our real estate listings live on air, maximizing the exposure for our sellers to help them sell faster for more money. And we got a hot listing here. This is acreage for sale in Largo, Florida, Pinellas County, 12290 101st Street in Largo. We got a $5 million listing here for 10.9 acres available MOL. You have about 5 acres of buildable. Now, what I love about these sellers, if they went through and they got a feasibility study done, that means they did the work up front to be able to tell you intelligently, here's a study that an engineer has done. You can build 22 single family homes or up to 43 attached or townhomes, that is, attached townhomes on this parcel of land. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Attention builders, developers, entrepreneurs, 12290 and side-by-side lots here, 12330 101st Street in Largo, Pinellas County. hot development play here in Tampa Bay. And I'm talking to multiple folks already on that. We've had one LOI submitted that we're looking at, but we're not jumping right on the first offer. So reach out. We'd love to talk to you, and visit our website, platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, we got Jay Smith in the house, A Snoop Inspection. Jay, I wanted to play. I got a clip about housing affordability, also millennial debt. But this one's. I'm going to play first about the affordability factor, because that's going to play in a lot to this younger crowd buying homes.
Any millennial dancing in the streets and voting for this crap, you deserve to be a pauper. You're voting for it. Anybody that votes for this crap, you deserve to be a Russian serf. I keep telling you, you're going to be a Russian serf. Now you're leveraging up. You're borrowing everything you can to try to survive. You vote for it, you deserve it, because you're going to get crushed. Not going to get crushed. You are getting crushed. Steve Cortez.
No, they certainly are. And by the way, to prove that point, again, always let's go to data and evidence. If I can pull up chart number 1, please. This is on housing affordability. Okay, now, how is this defined? That chart goes back 10 years. It's from the real estate giant Redfin. Housing affordability here is defined as, for your area, a median income can afford a median priced home at 30% or less of your income per month. That would be your home payment, which financial advisors recommend. Okay, so that's how it's defined here. If we go back in time 10 years ago, the majority of U.S. homes were affordable. Okay, now it has plunged all the way to only 21% under Joe Biden. Only 1 in 5 American homes is mathematically affordable for earners in that area, largely, mostly, because mortgages have gotten so expensive because
so the cost of funds is pushing that up. This trend of buying, that unprecedented migration patterns due to the lockdowns and the pandemics and the wearing the mask in the big cities. And they say, hey, I'm going to go to Florida. I don't have to wear a mask when I'm eating. Between bites, they want you to pull down take a bite, pull down your mask, take a bite,
Did you ever do that?
Heck no. Heck no.
I did not. That's for sure.
No.
I mean, the interest rates are getting a little bit out of hand. I mean, we know that this is kind of a close to a normal rate, but unfortunately, we were so used to it being low for so many years.
Yep.
It's going to take some real time, and I hope they slow down. I mean, I really do hope they slow down.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as pricing goes, is that what you're saying? Pricing slows down?
Well, I hope the Fed raising the rate, number one.
Yeah,
that's slow that down.
Yeah.
And then number 2, I mean, pricing needs to change.
Yeah, we need more inventory. We need more builders.
Yes, we do. And, of course, Pinellas, you don't have much room there, but the surrounding counties, Pasco, and I think that's why Pasco's still doing so well, is all the new construction that's there.
Yeah, Pasco, Hernando, and then out, east towards Brandon, Sefner, Valrico, those places, Ruskin. I've got 23 acres listed in Ruskin. That's a prime opportunity. Yeah. 30 acres in Hudson, but it's not zoned residential. This one's zoned industrial. So that's what a lot of these counties are looking at. These county commissioners are saying, look, we know we need housing, but we also need jobs. So one of my acreages in Hudson that I have is 30 acres, $2.5 million or so price point. They need to build a warehouse there, something along those lines. Let's get some workers in there, maybe some commercial. But that's what you got to do. We're talking with Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Another industry that's kind of getting hit is an article that I pulled. It says, where have restaurant workers gone? The food service industry has bounced back from the pandemic in a big way, but there's just one catch, says Bloomberg. Restaurant workers who usually fill those jobs have either left their positions or remained on the sidelines. Data shows some are taking some of the less paying jobs, less stressful jobs. And, so you look at the restaurant industry, that's another industry that's struggling. I've been to, multiple restaurants in places where they're saying, hey, just bear with us. We're shorthanded. We're short-staffed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's odd to go to a restaurant in prime time, as far as dinner time, and see a whole section that they're not even using. And it's just because they know they can't seat those tables and serve them.
Yep.
Because they don't have the staff.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And you look at layoffs, too. There's other companies making layoffs, too. Economic data released Wednesday added color and contour to a picture of the labor market with reports from ADP and the Bureau of Labor Statistics showing robust hiring at the start of the year. However, signs of a cool-off are coming into focus. Layoffs surged and job openings declined. Let's see here. It goes on to talk about LinkedIn members are posting about layoffs. Fitness company Zwift, 15% of their workforce, Grand Theft Auto, the publisher, the video game maker, had layoffs. They wouldn't say how many. Sirius XM is feeling the slowdown in car sales. They're laying off. Let's see. Multiple companies here. Citigroup laying off hundreds of staffers. Lots of Q-Rate, which owns QVC and HSN, let go of 400 people. So yeah, the economy's horrible because we've got horrible policies with horrible politicians.
Yeah, and it's not showing up really on the news yet. It doesn't seem like.
Right.
I mean, it depends on what news you're watching.
Right.
But people need to understand there is a slowdown coming.
Absolutely. There's a worldwide, it's all affecting, it's all connected. Ukraine, Russia, all of that, and you look at the Nord Stream pipeline, this all comes back to play, and there's potential for World War III literally happening right now.
Absolutely.
And then, and luckily, again, I thank God every day we're selling real estate in Florida, because if I was selling real estate in New York, Chicago, or Jersey, California, you're going to be in a much different situation.
Yeah. Like my home state, Maryland, talked about they're moving out of there. And the prices up there are worse than here.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
They absolutely are.
Yep. Jay, I want to give you the last 45 seconds or so, kind of talk a little bit about your business, how people can engage, and what you're looking for out there.
Well, I mean, just remember we have a team of inspectors out there. We cover all the way from the Villages over to Crystal River. So if you're working this area but you're talking to a client a little bit out of town, we actually do cover a lot of the area here all the way through Sarasota and Venice Beach. If we can help you, we're out there doing condos, mobile homes, single families. And because we have multiple inspectors, I do quite a few multifamily inspections where the investors are purchasing a 40-unit, 50-unit, that we get into that type of work also.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like to see it come back a little bit. I mean, I'm glad inspections are back, because for a while people were cutting it out because of contracts, but at least that has gone away.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was the multiple bid situation. They said, hey, we're just going to waive the inspection. Yep. We'll kind of roll the dice a little bit and buy this home.
And we do just do insurance reports. I mean, people need those.
Online at A-Snoop.
A-Snoop.com.
A-Snoop.com.
Main office number 813-345-2600.
All right, good stuff. All right, Jay, thanks for coming in. Appreciate those nuggets of advice and updates. Coming up, we've got attorney Anthony Rickman in studio. We're going to talk criminal defense with him, J6, and other topics. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.